And then one day a terrible thing happened. A teacher came to the learning center to help Maymay with English. Who was this person with short hair and blue eyes? And why was she smiling? Maymay was afraid. She wouldn't speak a word in English or Chinese. Hello, I'm Nancy, the person said. She pointed to an empty table. Let's sit down. Maymay understood the teacher's English. The teacher had a book, and she read a story. Maymay forgot that she didn't want to listen. The story was interesting, even if it was in English. It was about a boy who lived in New York more than 100 years ago. His family wanted to move to California. Maymay knew about California. She smiled to herself as she thought about California in Chinese. The teacher read on. The family crossed a wagon in a covered wagon. Covered wagon, thought Maymay. She didn't know the words for covered wagon in Chinese. Maymay didn't want to hear any more. She didn't want English to have words that she didn't know in Chinese. She felt sad. A tear slid down her cheek. She didn't want the teacher to see, but the teacher did see and said, "Let's stop for today," in English. That night in bed, Maymay felt afraid again. She wasn't sure why. She felt she might lose something. She felt she had lost something. She felt she would lose something. "Good night," her mother said in Chinese. "Good night," answered Maymay without thinking, in English. And then she fell into a deep sleep. She dreamt about Hong Kong. In the dream, she went to see Yi Fong. But Yi Fong said, "Who are you?" in English. "Who am I?" dreamt Maymay. "I don't even remember my name." She woke up shouting, "I am Maymay," in Chinese. The next day, Maymay was mad. She stared at the teacher. She glared at the teacher. And then she said, "I don't care," to the teacher, in English. "Very good," said Nancy. "I knew you could speak English." "But I don't think you really want to learn," Nancy continued. "And that's too bad." "Why is it too bad?" thought Maymay in Chinese. The teacher seemed to read her mind. "Because in America, almost everything happens in English. Don't you want to go to an American movie? Don't you want to ask for pizza? Don't you want to have an ice cream cone? Don't you want to read the signs at the zoo? Don't you want to talk with me?" "I want to talk with you," said Nancy, in English. Maymay turned away. She wanted to tell Nancy that she liked her, but all she could say was, "I'm sorry," in English. Nancy suddenly jumped up. "Get your coat," she said to Maymay. "We are going to take a walk." Maymay said goodbye to Shek in Chinese. On the street, a strange thing happened. Nancy didn't ask Maymay to talk. Nancy didn't care if Maymay talked. Nancy didn't want Maymay to talk. Nancy was talking in English. She told Maymay about her third-grade teacher. She told Maymay about her favorite book. She told Maymay that she loved tomatoes and potatoes. She told Maymay about Mr. Schwartz, her dog. She told Maymay everything, it seemed, in English. Maymay thought about her school. She thought about her favorite book. She thought about char siu bao, her favorite food. And then she thought about Su Fa, her cat, in Chinese. But Nancy wouldn't stop talking. She went on and on and on. "Forever talking," yelled Maymay in English. Nancy didn't seem to hear. She kept on talking. She started reading the store signs. She read the names forwards and backwards. Sang Ping became Gnip Gnas. Maymay became Im Im. And still Nancy talked in English. "Stop!" cried Maymay. She couldn't stand it anymore. She felt invisible. "I want to talk," she shouted in English. And before she could think about what she was doing, Maymay began. She talked about Children's Day in Hong Kong. You get lots of presents. She talked about the dragon dances on Chinese New Year. She talked about her street in Hong Kong and all her friends nearby. She talked for 22 minutes without stopping in English. Nancy was laughing, and as Maymay talked, Nancy laughed more and more. Maymay started to smile. Then she laughed a little, and then she shook with laughter. They both laughed so hard, neither one could say a word in English or Chinese. "Thank you," said Nancy as she gave Maymay a hug. "For what?" asked Maymay, still laughing. "For giving me," said Nancy, "a present of English." "You are welcome," said Maymay. And to this day Maymay talks in Chinese and English whenever she wants.